not destroying the story at beginning. Yeah.
It's interesting because now
Yes.
you talk about you are introvert and love the jungle and just you and the forest, right?
Yeah, I found peace here.
Yeah. I just want to asking about why did you build the hill with the tree house concept and no other concept like the conventional house?
Like if you wanna stay creative, you have to keep the child's mind.
Okay, so hello everyone. Hello, how are you
Oh, hello.
today? Oh my God, so happy to meet all of you guys right now. Okay, so the first thing first, I would like to ask you, how do you do tonight? Please share down below on the comment box. I will read it for everyone. No one, no one is sharing. Like, how do you do? Like, am I? Oh my God, there's love. I'm great. Thank you very much, Mr. Jing, for responding. Okay, I'm not talking to the ghosts like here because there are so many. If that's so, there are so many ghosts around, like 100, more than 100 ghosts I'm talking to. I'm scared. Okay. Oh, Mr. Prime, you made it. Thank you so much, Mr. Prime. Awesome, and my heart is full with this group. I'm so glad that you can make it. Mr. Prime is actually one of the lecturers and the representative from the Philippines Women's University. So he come across so many ways from Philippines to come to BV Talk. Nice. From Ariansi, I'm great. Just got my coffee. Wow, can I have some? Because I can't really take that coffee right now. Hi, peeps. Hello, Kak Cindy. You made it today to the BPA Talk. Thank you very much for stopping by. From Andy, great, nice to be here. Yes, of course. I also really excited to host you all. Okay, so I would like to welcome you all to the BPA Talk 21st. Um, I'm Furcon and I will be the host for today's event. And if I'm wondering if you are the first timer here to the BVE Talk. Actually, BVE Talk is like a discussion session with the experts. As you can see, here are the experts that you will hear from today's event. And they will share about the implementation of artificial intelligence in the hospitality industry. Okay, so but before moving forward to the event, I would like to have a warming up from all of you. Okay, Adil, let's go to the next slide. Okay, now it's the time for expectation setting. I would like for all of you to join me in doing this expectation setting. So my team, Tara, will later give the link into the chat box, and we will have we will read your expectation setting for this BVE talk. Adil, probably you can move or shift your screen into the Slido of warming up. Okay, that's amazing. Okay. Has everyone got the link already? No? If no, don't worry, don't be afraid, because I'm here to help you all, giving the link there. Okay, that's amazing. That's very amazing. Okay, I read some, and 6 participants typing. Oh my god, I hope there are more than 5 participants typing, because you are 100. Like, oh my god, full of new knowledge. Yes, of course. Hopefully what, sir? Or hopefully what, ma'am? Because you didn't finish your word here. Uplifting, insightful, burden of my point of view. That's amazing. Greet with smiley face. Ooh, that's so cute. Increase my knowledge, of course, more insight about the topic. Inspirational. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, everyone. Insightful. Great, great. So, okay, from this expectation setting, we can see that mainly most of you are expecting this BVE talk to be two things. The first one is to be insightful for all of you, and the second one is to be amazing, alongside with being inspirational, delightful. Alhamdulillah, praise to God. That's nice. Cute, great time, get more knowledge. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for participating in this expectation setting. Now let's get back to the presentation to start the run of the BVE talk. Okay. While Adil is setting the presentation, I would like to set the expectation as well for all of you about the objective of this BVE Talk 21st. The first one is to be a knowledge sharing platform of AI implementation in hospitality industry. And the second one is to open communities' eyes about the advanced hospitality business model. And the third one is to be a networking platform for speakers, audience, and also the partners that are coming into the BVE Talk. Okay. Without any further ado, let's go to the next slides, and let's move to the first agenda, which is introductions. Okay, so for the introduction here, we will introduce you to our co-host, moderator, and also the speakers. And the first one, let's give a big applause to of our co-host to being able, engaging, and bringing this so much audience. Like currently we are in 170 audience to come into this BVE Talk. The first one is from Program Studi S1 Pariwisata Fakultas Ilmu Budaya UGM. The second one is actually for from Computer Science Department Universitas Negeri Semarang. And the third one is from Hima Teknik Informatika UNESA. And the third one is from Himpunan Mahasiswa Pariwisata Indonesia. And the fifth one is from Hima Statistika IPB. And the sixth one is from Bisnis Perjalanan Wisata Sekolah Vokasi UGM. Okay. Thank you for all the co-hosts for engaging with this event. And not only the co-hosts, we also have media partner that contributed to our awareness of this event. From the first one is we have Curtin University Malaysia. The second one is ERC Institute Singapore. The third one is Google Developer Student Club University of Indonesia. And the next one is Sekolah Tinggi Elektronika dan Informatika ITB. Next one is School of Tourism Philippines Women's University. And next, School of Hospitality Management Philippines Women University. And the last one is Teknik Informatika Universitas Negeri Malang. Okay, then without any further ado, I would like you to meet our moderator for today, Mr. Jing Cho Yang.
Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending upon where you're joining from today. For me today, I'm starting my day nice and early at 5 a.m. here in California. So that probably is one of the most early attendees at this BVE Talk. Okay, welcome everybody. How's everyone doing? If you're good, show me some love, yeah? Show me a reaction on Zoom, which everyone would be an expert on using by now. Maybe open your mic, or maybe not. Okay, all right. Anyhow, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be at this BVE Talk. And just a little bit about myself. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of Book It Vista, a hospitality management company based here in Bali that uses technology to inspire delight. I studied actually a long time ago in electrical engineering and computer science at the University of California, Berkeley, and I'll be the moderator for the BVE Talk 21.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jing. I think from now on you can proceed forward to introduce our speakers, right from Mr. Adi.
I would be delighted to introduce our speakers. Okay. All right. Coming off to our first speaker introduction, Mr. Adib. Coming from ticket.com is Mr. Adib here and present.
Right. Hello, everyone. So as you know, my name is Muhammad Atim Diaji, but you can just call me Adib. I'm from ticket.com. Currently I'm working as a machine learning engineer at ticket.com. Try to implement AI and supporting all team with all of the data science stuff, basically.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adib, for joining us today as a speaker at the BVE Talk 21. Okay, let's go to our next speaker, who will be Ms. Archana. Ms. Archana, please tell us about yourself.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Archana this side. So about my background, I have transitioned from being an HR professional to now this beautiful world of data. I'm in complete awe of what data can do to the world at large. And I had a wonderful opportunity working with Chop in the data science and analytics team. I was working there till almost last month. I'm transitioning and setting up my own business now. While in Chop, I worked on some amazing projects in the AI aspect and mostly on the analytics front. So yes, I'm really excited to join this talk and learn and be with
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Archana. It sounds like you're having very good diversity of experience from hospitality and also data and also being an entrepreneur. We love this background. All right, let's go ahead and introduce our next speaker. So our next speaker is Mr. Ginto. Mr. Ginto, are you present?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. You can call me Ginto. I work as a talent and culture manager at Novotel Tangerang right now for the almost 8 years. So I started my career in operational side, actually, in a small restaurant. But in the last 11 years, I work in HR department. Thank you, and nice to be here.
All right. Okay. Coming to our first full-time hospitality speaker today, Mr. Ginto. Welcome. Okay. Next speaker will be Ida. Ida, are you there from Trivago?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone. I'm joining you from Germany here at the Trivago office, and it's only 2 p.m.
Excellent.
Here, around here. Yeah, so a bit about myself. So my name is Aida Orujova, and since 3.5 years, I've been working as a data scientist at Trivago. I actually studied Bachelor of Business Administration back in the days, but my pursuit of numbers actually made me follow the career in data science and data analytics. And yeah, here I am and very excited to speak in front of you and also exchange on topic of application of AI in hospitality industry.
Fantastic. Guten Tag. Okay. And what time is it now in Germany, Mrs. Ida?
It's only 2 p.m. I'm right after lunch, slightly sleepy, but with a coffee in my hand. So everything is great.
Fantastic. And you got 236 people looking at you right now from all over the world. So fantastic. Okay. All right.
No pressure.
Thank you for joining us. Okay. Next, let's go to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Amanda. Amanda, I think you're here somewhere. Yes?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Amanda, please tell us about yourself.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda. I currently work as the marketing communications manager at Anantaras Minyak Bali Resort. So I've been working in the hospitality industry for more than 10 years now. So I'm very happy to share my knowledge in the hospitality industry and of course, learn something new through this BVE talk.
Hey, fantastic. All right. Thank you also, Amanda, for joining us. We got a pretty good balance now. I think we got people from full-time hospitality. We've got people who work in travel. We have people who work in food and beverage, apps, tech. So, okay, this is looking good. Next slide. Do we have any more speakers? Do we have any more speakers? No. Okay. So let me actually give a thumbs up and a thank you to both. There's 3 people who deserve credit for this, actually. For Khan, Tara, and Shaylin for organizing our amazing speakers over the past few weeks. They've sent out a lot of communications backwards and forwards, right? To get everyone here. So now we're all here, and this is due to their amazing work. Thank you. Okay, so the discussion of this is the same format at BVE Talk. If you're here, we strive to inspire delight. We want to actually get to the truth of essentially trends and situations in a very noisy world by bringing in experts to give candid conversations there. So essentially, this will be a moderated discussion with our panelists, and I will be the moderator asking questions. But this is also interactive and engaging too. So I would like to actually give the opportunity also to the audience for also asking questions too as well, right? So that we can get the most knowledge off of this shared opportunity here. Okay. All right, next slide. Oh, wait, did I forget to introduce the topic? Oh, well, let me go
No.
back a slide.
No, of course. This is actually before the topic starts. We would like to remind all of the participants here, if you are actively engaged into the discussion, you ask questions, and even when there is a space for you to actively ask questions live to the speakers like that, we will give you a e-money for worth IDR 50,000 rupiah. Okay. So I
Yay!
don't think you want
50,000.
to. You
All
would want to
right.
make that, right? So
It's not $50,000, right? 50,000 rupiah.
if it is $50,000, I would like to take it for myself, lah.
Well, I don't know about that. You organize this event for fun. That might be something else then. Yeah. Okay. Yes, we've listened to your feedback, everybody. So if you've been to BVE Talk multiple times, we've been listening to that end of session feedback to make the BVE Talk more engaging. And this was one of the ideas that a few really inspired people came up with. So we're going to give cash prizes to encourage engagement, right? To kind of get the discussion in the event more lively. 50,000 rupiah. You can use it to buy ayam goreng or nasi goreng, or I don't know. You have a rujak or whatever you want, right? So there's all these great options from engagement at the BV Talk. Okay, next slide. All right, so the topic of tonight's discussion, or this morning's discussion, will be, can the human touch ever be replaced? And we're talking about hospitality in the world of AI. Oh, just one slide back, please. So this is the part where, just before I spoke earlier, please scan the Slido right now where you can engage with the speaker. So, you know, you guys already know how it works, right? You scan Slido, and if any questions, just put it up on Slido. If you don't have any questions, go on Slido, upvote somebody's question if you really like it. Okay, and then during each particular phase of the e-talk, I'll stop and we can go and get some questions from the audience to engage with the speakers. Okay, so everyone's ready to do that. This is the Slido link. We'll leave it there for 1, 2, 3 more seconds. And remember, the people who are the most engaged, we will be giving 50,000 rupiah cash prizes for the 6 most engaged participants to the e-talk. Does that include if you're working at Buena Vista, or do you have to be? Okay, all right, we'll sit outside of Buena Vista.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So if you work at our company, we'll just say thank you for coming. But if you are an audience member, then you have a opportunity to earn the cash prize. Okay, all right. That's the Slido link. We'll be sharing that also if you missed it later on the Zoom comments. Okay. All right, so let's go into our first topic. Shall we? Are we ready? Okay, so we can finally begin. Hopefully everyone's charged and ready. So we're going to be talking about the hospitality industry. Is it a conventional or advanced industry? Is it something that's progressive? Okay, and just for fun today, I'll be not only moderating, but also be taking notes on Miro, right? So are we ready to switch over to Miro, Adil? Okay, so here we go. I've added a few, okay, let's see how this goes. This is the first time I'm doing this, everybody, so this should be fun. If you take a look on your screen, you should be able to see a whiteboard with questions, and then we've also had a little cutouts for each of the speakers. This makes it a little bit easier for us to kind of follow the discussion and such, right? Okay, so let me begin here with a question over to Mr. Ginto, okay? Let's go with this particular question. Since you've been working in hospitality for many years, how do you understand hospitality. What is the essential definition of hospitality for you, Mr. Ginto?
Yeah, hospitality industry means we are being friendly to our guests. It's a friendly industry, and that we tend to want to make our or want to make others feel comfortable and feel that they are welcome, just like they are in their home, something like that.
Okay. Welcome, like as in their home. Okay, excellent. That's a really concise definition. I like a lot of the parts. It's about feelings, it's about friendliness. Let's turn this over to Archana. Yeah, Archana, having worked at CHOP, which is hospitality, because you're doing with food and beverage, and HR, which is dealing with people, and then also the data, which you kind of took a look in. Do you have a different perspective on what hospitality means?
So I in this aspect, I completely agree with Ginto that it's like hospitality at its core is an industry which has come into existence to take care of people and their well-being when they're away from home. So this can include restaurants, like that's where specifically where CHOP works. This can include tourism industry and lodging, etc. So at CHOP, how data and technology has come and created better customer experiences with data and analytics. We try to gauge what the customer really wants, what the restaurants really want, and we try to better their experience through technology. And so I think hospitality industry is at the brink of great innovation with the advent of technology, and that's what we try to do at CHOP.
Amazing. Okay, I like how we took the traditional answer and we extended it by taking this idea of the purpose of data and technology is to understand more about the customer, what the customer wants. Let's jump around then. Let's jump around over to let's go to Amanda. Amanda, coming from traditional hospitality, but also with a marketing background as such, what say you? Like what would you like to offer to construct this more perfect idea of what hospitality means?
From my perspective, because it's kind of similar with what Paginto and also Arcana said. The hospitality industry, the root of the hospitality industry is to serve, and we need to provide our guests or our customers, whatever we call, is a remarkable experience. So whenever they come, they will feel like they are gaining something.
Okay, gaining something. Okay, excellent. Okay, all right, cool. Thank you very much. Let's go to Miss Ida here. Okay, now this will be fascinating. Coming from, let's say, Germany, different culture, different nation, also related to tech, Trivago. What would you like to say about hospitality? How do you see it from your perspective?
Yeah. So from my perspective, I think basically I would cover this as a term or industry where traditional players, which I think this is something that is coming from back in the days, right? Like where there are two players in the market, which is like businesses and organization that provide services to who? To the customers that are searching to travel, to stay somewhere, etc. Right? But then on top of this traditional players in the market, we also have now currently meta search companies where I am actually coming from, which I imagine to be part of this new side of the hospitality industry, where because there is such an abundance of all the services provided in the industry, there are companies like Trivago, or there are companies like Skyscanner, etc., that provide meta search experience for all the users and the basically players in the market who provide services to be able to compare everything, right? So as I mentioned, it's like businesses and organizations, it's definitely customers who are thinking to travel. And then there are also meta search companies that give the users a chance to compare across all the services provided in the industry.
Wow, excellent. Okay, that actually is pretty enlightening. So there's this kind of there's this world of physical businesses, and then we're talking about search companies that then help, I guess, identify what the user is looking for in a very busy and competitive and also very multi optional industry where there's many choices. Okay, excellent, Ms. Ada. Let's go to another person who's working in meta search, Mr. Adib, ticket.com. Would you also call your industry in meta search as well, or do you have a different terminology for how your business and hospitality come together?
Yeah, I mean, if we are talking about the industry where I'm working myself, yeah, I think we can say we are working on meta search industry. But I think some of us will take a further step to make your journey to search for your like tourism activities much more comfortable, right? So we need to go further than just giving you the availability to search, but maybe facilitate further, because we can see that hospitality sometimes not only cover about the maybe like holiday itself, but the journey to go to the holiday itself, it will be part of crucial as well, maybe, and also the post journey itself. So yeah, I think there will be some much more broader definitions, because of we need to see not only at the event, but pre and post will be crucial on the hospitality industry.
Got it. So pre and post event, would this mean like the, let's say the flight and maybe the car rental or the other particular parts kind of that adjacent to the actual accommodation experience?
Yeah. I mean, if we are talking about the, okay, let's say example, if we are talking about the pre-journey itself, maybe an example of when you're buying the plane ticket, right? So there might be some case of rescheduling, or maybe some cases of cancellation and everything. So we also don't only sell the tickets, right? But we also need to help to the boarding process if they are having some cancellations, if they are having some issues on their booking. So how we can help that? So we just want to make sure the user having smooth journey for the holiday itself.
That sounds like a really interesting point that I'm gonna kind of dive into, which is this idea of the a lot of the internet companies are involved in hospitality, like let's say Trivago or Shop or trip.com, right? We're essentially looking at kind of like, okay, how do we use this information? How do we use this data to improve the user experience here? Okay, and Mr. Let me go here, Mr. Adib. I want to kind of explore your particular idea of how much progress do you see in the hospitality industry, and do you consider yourself kind of like part of the side that is asking for more progress on the tech side, or do you see the hospitality industry as kind of like more settled in a conventional way, and that what you're doing is sort of organizing the conventional world in a way so that your customers can get this journey?
I see. I mean, if you're talking about the hospitality industry itself, we can see that in a way the core will always be the same, right? There is a service provider and the one that buying the service itself, right? That's the core of hospitality industry itself. But we can see that how people request or get the service itself might be evolving from like the traditional way into the modern way. I mean, if we are talking about the well, we call ourselves OTA, online travel agency, or maybe like Trivago said, the meta search service. People usually before either like straightly go to the hotels, or maybe like calling the hotels so you can get a book a room, right? Then you are moving forward into, let's say, using the travel agent at certain places, but you need to go outside from your home, right? But then now we are having the service of from your mobile phone, you can do anything. So from what I can see is technology is much more into helping people, like speed up the process and make it easier when you are doing the hospitality, instead of like changing how the hospitality course exists, because the axis will always be the same, but we will work around it to make sure the journey of the users and all of the participants in this industry can make it easier and much more comfortable.
Got it. Okay, so it sounds like the business of ticket.com and other meta search platforms are essentially a way of understanding and providing a channel for our guests, our customers to actually access hospitality experiences. And by giving them options like to book on, let's say, mobile, or to use an online travel agent as opposed to a walk-in, or opposed to just arriving at the accommodation itself. But the actual core hospitality experience still remains the same then, yeah? Is that okay? Great. Let's bounce this off of another person who's worked in this field before. Let's go to Miss Archana. What do you say? Same, different, or do you see a potential for, let's say, the platform itself, for, let's say, something where Shopee can actually provide a different kind of hospitality than what the actual service provider does? What do you think there?
Okay, so I'll tell you what Chope does. Chope is a restaurant reservation platform. So in the traditional setup, probably a customer would have directly called the restaurant to book a table, and likewise went on with the service. But with Chope as a platform, what it does is it gives recommendation. It provides a better search experience so that users like you and me can actually, it makes their life easier. It tells them what they can have, and based on what interests they've showed in the past, what other recommendations can the platform give. And it also gives the merchants, which are restaurants, a good opportunity to be competitive in the market. Like it's like, if you do good, then you'll reap good, right? So it's not like if you do good and you'll just remain in silo just because people don't know about you. But if you are actually good, the platform can actually, recommend your services to customers who are interested in similar food and beverages. So I think it's not traditional anymore. I think with technology, it has taken a great step towards bettering the experience for everyone around, be it the restaurants as well as the diners.
Excellent. Okay, so Ms. Archana, this is an interesting extension of this idea. So it's not that the platforms itself are just channels, but they're actually creating a kind of a new experience. They're not just channels, but they're essentially serving the job of a concierge would, right? Maybe at a hotel before. So they are kind of like taking over an existing job in a way. But in doing so, they also create a climate by which other hospitality, let's say, performance gets elevated, because now it's rewarded, right? Now it's getting actually like you're getting more customers, you're getting better reviews, you're able to stand out. And it's like capitalism, I guess. You create this competition that kind of elevates maybe the service standards in the industry. Okay, interesting. Okay, so that's a refinement of the idea. Let's go to Miss Amanda. Miss Amanda, now, having heard essentially what the technologists have been saying in terms of directing your channel. I know, having worked in the hospitality industry ourselves, sometimes we have positive things to say, but sometimes we also have criticism about the OTAs and how they maybe pit us against each other, or they charge us those really hefty commissions. So in your particular mind, do you think the technology and the things that let's say are first that Adib and Archana are talking about, is that progressing hospitality? Is it getting in the way of hospitality? Or what's your viewpoint on that one from your side, Miss Amanda?
Okay, from my perspective, the technology itself, it's also helping us to reach to the wider customers. So, for example, by having a collaboration with the Chope, or maybe the ticket.com or Trivago, we can reach the audience that we never touched before. And also for the technology itself, maybe 20 years before we can remember the guest preferences using our brain and mind. And now the technology itself, it's also some kind of the assistant to us, because, for example, Mr. Jing, you come to Anantaras Minyak, and we know from our system that you always wake up at 5 and you always asking for a black coffee without any sugar. So, at 5 a.m. we can bring the coffee right to your table or right to your rooms. So
That's
it
pretty
can,
amazing. I look forward to that. Like right now, right?
yeah.
Where's Anantara? They're gonna walk in. Okay.
Yeah.
Knowledge about the guest. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So you're able to get if I may, this is CRM, right? This is customer relationship management software that essentially helps you process guests at scale. So perhaps before the tech was the person actually that remembered the guest, but now you can essentially remember all the information about a guest, transfer it from hotel to hotel, and then anybody picking that up would go, oh, hey, I know you, even though I haven't met you before, because we can like access this database with information about the guest. Okay. Do you like Trivago? Do you like these OTAs, or do they sometimes annoy you too because they charge high commissions and they, is there any part of the tech that kind of interrupts the hospitality process, or like, they're not taking responsibility for a cancellation or anything?
Yeah, sometimes we just get annoyed why they are get the biggest piece of cake from our market, but if we are looking on the
that's gonna be a
wider
great topic.
perspective, they are giving
Okay.
the revenue and also the guests to our hotel, so it will always back to the hotel whenever channels they are using. So the people will come to the hotel, and we can also doing the like a small conversation or any kind of the services that we can use to inform them if you want to stay with us for the future, you can go to our website, something like that.
Of course you can. With direct guests. Okay. All right. I totally understand that. And I'm sure the folks that work also in the travel industry also see that too as well. Let's go to Miss Ida. Yeah, Miss Ida. This is an interesting topic. And since we've covered some good stuff here, let's go to you for some hard questions. Yeah. So there is rivalry always, I think, between, let's say, the people who control the technology for our travel industry and the people who actually do serve. And I think we've explored some of these themes, right? The people with the technology seem to be able to create the competition. They seem to be able to take like a big share of the pie. Do you feel like let's say the vendors and the providers, are they treated with hospitality? And how do you maintain a, let's say, community relationship with the people on your platform, on Trivago?
Yeah, that's a very actually interesting point, because in the past couple of years, right, especially thinking about the whole global economic aspect and the crisis that we had, right, and the COVID and travel industry going down, like there were a lot of aspects in terms of, first of all, trying to maintain the customers, even though people basically by most of the cases were not able to travel, and two, how to still keep continuing maintaining the relationship with our advertisers, right? Like, which could be like all the way from big OTA chains all the way to small hoteliers and etc. And here I would say actually Trivago is putting a lot of effort to kind of try and personalize the relationship that it has with this different players of different size and like location, etc., like differently. So when it comes, for instance, to big OTA chains and etc., like what we're trying to do is we're trying to help them let's say think about alternative ways of how they can basically advertise themselves on Trivago. So what already Amanda, like I think has mentioned, so back in the days, we would charge our advertiser by clicks, right? Like, so to the clicks that users do on the Trivago website. And now, given the fact that there are maybe like also a lot of cancellations, like travelers may be a bit more cautious about traveling because it was like COVID times, etc. We are actually providing alternative monetization system where they're charged. So they're being charged based on the bookings, and that actually also includes all the cancellations and etc. that the users are doing. So basically, we're in some sense and extent, sharing this responsibility together with advertisers. And I think that actually quite helps us position strategically, where we're also like seen as a friend to the hoteliers, and we're not really trying to take any, let's say, revenue or anything from them. From the other side, right, like when it comes to maybe like a small hoteliers and etc., I think this was also already mentioned back in the days. Those small hoteliers wouldn't have a chance to reach to the customers because they wouldn't have maybe like trained personnel or like simply resources to be able to advertise to the users who might be looking for such options. What Trivago does right now is currently we give chance to such small hoteliers without having, for instance, the trained personnel and like infrastructure in place to advertise the thing, to be able to be at Trivago and still basically be able to offer the services and then reach to the customer and train the personnel and provide the platform that does most of the things, right? Like we educate them on in terms of how to bid, in terms of how to compete with maybe a bit larger OTAs and etc. So I would say what technology and like all this advancement in this industry helped us is to personalize our relationship with our advertisers or like players who want to advertise on Trivago website, but as well as be able to bring everything to the user eventually. That
Oh
would
my
be
goodness. Wow. Thank you for that deep dive. Okay. There was a lot of good rewarding bits there. So, all right, let me try to, I think I wrote most of this down, but I like this. There's this maintenance of the relationship with the customer and trying to empower the smaller players to give equal access. I can see that as a definition of hospitality. Speaking of friends, there's a person here we should ask about friendliness, and that is, all right, Mr. Ginto. Mr. Ginto, guests are our friends. Is technology our friend, or is technology kind of a necessary thing that we have to deal with in order to be friendly to guests? Are the companies like Ticket.com and Trivago and Shop, are they acting to you with friendly intentions? Do you want to be friends with them for a long time?
Yeah. All right. I will try to answer from the HR perspective. Okay. The technology helps overcome the human carelessness. That's the first one. Okay. It means that the tech can support the operation, and also from the business side, it means the tech can support the employee to maximize their contribution. It means that to maximize their performance, and at the end to maximize the profit. So
okay, that is very good. And profit. Okay, and all businesses do need to be profitable in order to be. Okay,
but of course,
Go ahead.
Yeah, but of course, the technology itself, in hospitality, as I mentioned before, the service is not just like let's say if somebody want to check into our hotel, the reception just say, "Are you checking in?" The process is we call it in Accor, we call it, it's just the very basic level of service. It's just like based on SOP standard. But as Pak Alif said that sometimes in our guests need the journey. Pak Adib said the journey is very important to our guests. So it needs our team also has to use the technology to help them to provide a better service, not to just to make their job more easy, but actually to give a more service to the guests.
Got it. Okay, this is really good stuff, actually. Mr. Ginto, what you just said earlier kind of inspires another round of questions almost, but let me check with Furkan. Furkan, do we need to move on to the next slide? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. But I think the next slide is the very interesting part because we have the first active and also stand up session from the participants. So
Okay. All right,
okay,
great.
so for all the participants, is there anyone from you that you would like probably give thoughts, comments, or probably ask like lively to these amazing speakers here? Counting to 5 right now. If there is no answer from you, we will move forward to the Q&A Slido. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I don't think that that anyone has any interest to give a direct conclusion. So I think we can move to the Slido. Ideal, can you help me navigate to the Slido, please? Not the next slide, but the Slido one. Okay, this is the question. So I guess Mr. Jing, you could read like for only one question in this session.
Oh, wow. Okay. The first question was actually from an anonymous guest, or anonymous audience member, said how to make good hospitality. I think we've already covered most of that. The risk and limitations of artificial intelligence in business, great question, but let's kind of put that off towards the end, actually, for Con, because I think there's some good parts there. How do data scientists work in hospitality? I think we should save these questions for the next phases because these are actually more relevant to the next slide. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, let's do this then for the meantime, then for Con. Could we juggle back to Miro and then I'll kind of wrap up the first segment of
Cool.
our discussion. Yeah?
Yes, Ken. Adil, please go to
Okay.
the mirror and also let Mr. Jing wrap up the first discussion.
All right. Okay. For the audience, this is a new system, so no worries. We'll be hospitable to kind of get everyone familiar with it. So on Slido, just ask a question. But for the stand and speak segment, if you do want to open your camera and open your mic and ask any of the speakers here, remember everyone here is from hospitality, so nobody will hurt you, right? Okay. Anyhow, let's take a look at this. I think we got quite a lot of good information here. Thank you, Mr. Ginto, about talking about the applicability of technology to deliver consistent service. I have a very fascinating question here, which is somewhat the core, I think, around how to use technology and how to use automation for hospitality. Let's go to Miss Amanda. I'm very fascinated about your opinion on this one, which is if we do use, let's say, if we count on people to do things, right? And we try to grow larger organizations, then does our brand start getting sort of interpreted differently depending upon who is actually going to be there? And if we follow SOPs, as Mr. Ginto said earlier, then do we just end up becoming more robotic in a way? And if we're just going to follow SOPs, then why not just get a robot to do it, right? It's just going to be the same way. So what are your thoughts here in terms of like the place of, let's say, automation and technology to improve service standards, but also not get into that kind of uncanny valley where it just becomes robotic. It doesn't actually become personal service. What are your thoughts there?
Okay, I think I also have the same, how do you call it? The perspective with Ginto, because in hospitality industry, especially in the hotel industry, we believe that every person is different in every journey, and every journey is different for every person. So using the technology, we can also learn their preferences, and also we can enhance their experiences, but it always needs the human touch.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we are trying to engage with the guest or the customer, we also need to understand why they are here and what is their expectation to coming to, for example, our hotel di Anantara Seminyak. So we need to utilize even our services and also the technology to get the better information to provide more experience and also services.
Okay, got it. Let's go kind of deeper into this idea of the human touch. What if the human touch is different for each particular human that is trying to serve a guest, right? My human touch is to be very loud, and somebody else might be more shy, and somebody else might have like a completely different outlook on that, right? So if we're trying to, let's say, define human touch, and let's say define where parts of automation can save us from carelessness, can save us from embarrassing mistakes, where do we start needing to draw that line, actually? So who should I ask about this one? Okay, let's go to Miss Archana, actually. Miss Archana, what do you say? What do you think that line can be drawn? I mean, so many businesses, I think, are able to provide a more consistent experience with, let's say, using a digital solution.
Yeah.
But what do you still, let's say, rely on for providing the human touch? Having worked in both like HR and data, what do you think should be, just even if imperfect, should be the human touch, or what say you? How would you approach this?
Okay, so human touch, of course, cannot be replaced. And like how you said, right, that every human touch will be different. And how do you ensure that it's what the organization wants, right? So what technology does is, like how even Ginto suggested, that it takes away the hard task, it takes away the mundane tasks, and whatever free time, whatever time has been saved, whatever opportunity cost has been saved, that should be invested in, bettering the human interaction with other humans. So I think the space and the time that we get after using technology should be invested in a way that improves us and empowers us to do better. And like, I'll just give you an example how Chope used to do. Like we also have Chat GPT, right? So Chat GPT, if you tell them that, okay, this is the restaurant, can you write a description about the restaurant? Yes, it'll give a good description. But if you want to do email marketing and, like if you want to reach out to a loyal customer, you of course, cannot full-fledgedly rely on Chat GPT. You have to give that human, like, that sense of belongingness to the customer. So I think it has to be a beautiful match. It has to be a good match. And you need to figure out what is it that technology can do for you and what is it that the human, if empowered, can do for
Got it.
So yeah.
What if you gave it to a human and they made a lot of spelling mistakes and then the technology caught it?
That's what, like you invest in yourself, you invest in upgrading yourself, upskilling yourself, build your technological capabilities, and not just settle for the basic, not just settle for being okay with the fact that you do mistakes, just be better. So I think that's what this space can give you.
Fascinating. Okay, very well. Let's pass this around a few more times, and then I think we can go on to the next topic. Let's go to Mr. Mr. Adib. Mr. Adib, this is a great, I think, question for a lot of people who suggest that we can kind of delegate things to machines, but then let humans work on, let's say, the more creative stuff, right? But what if that starts getting mundane after a while too, right? What if like saying hi to everybody at the front office gets kind of mundane, and what if after a while that feels kind of almost unconscionable to actually ask somebody to do that, right? To send 100 personalized emails to 100 of our guests or here's a really good one, right? Let's say you got a lot of reviews coming back, right? This is an experience that we have, and have a human respond to every single review that comes back in a personal way that makes them have to remember, well, we know what happened actually there. How do you foresee this particular delegation between human responsibilities and, let's say, technology responsibilities evolving?
Yeah, I think in general, I agree with the other speakers, especially Arshana, regarding technology should help us to tackle mundane things, repetitive things, so the person can focus more into much more crucial things. Let me give you one example. So let's say when you are booking hotels, you try to see what exactly the the features of this hotel and everything, right? So usually you contact someone if it is not described enough, right? But yeah, I think let's say we are already integrated ChatGPT into our system, then they can just ask to ChatGPT, right? Because maybe the question might be common, something like, okay, does it have a pool, or maybe is it a smoking room and everything? It doesn't necessarily need to be answered by person directly, but
Wow.
right.
Okay.
So we can have a system that help people to navigate all of these informations to get what they need directly, right? But there are some cases where it need to be directly responded by person. In example, something like complaints. They are, let's say, having some issue with their bookings. They are having some issue. Okay, why my booking not gone through? Although I've paid some money to the service, right? So you cannot let a robot to answer this one. Well, you can do, but it will give the bad experience to the user itself. So we can like make a decision where if it is like common questions, or like searching information, we can just let the technology handle it. But especially if it is related to some emotional things from the user side, like angry, something like that. So that's human part that need to be taking care. Because I believe although we already have like ChatGPT or maybe some good chat model that we can use, properly trained human will always be much better to handle this kind of thing.
Now that is a really good word, right? A properly trained human with also, I think, a lot of patience, stamina, and can actually deal with the kind of this is actually a really great topic now. I think we've hit upon some really interesting material. So dealing with complaints, some people would say is mundane, right? Some people would say, wow, that's not what I really look forward to when I get a hospitality job. I don't want to hear people like yell at me and say I ruined their holiday because their hot water isn't working, or we've all heard it all probably, right? But maybe that's where AI can really help remove and help us as humans too. I don't know. Okay, but it's an interesting direction. Okay, really, really interesting. Okay, let me go back to Furkan. Furkan, are we ready for the next stage at this point?
Yes.
If we are all close. Okay, so just a moment. I'll summarize kind of like the key points here. So thank you for our panelists. If you've been, does everyone like this? Does everyone like the whiteboard with the documentation? It's kind of interesting, right? You can really follow the conversation now. So I think we came upon some really cool understandings about the idea of the hospitality industry. I think we can all agree that hospitality is something that we feel, something that we have to actually understand how others feel, how our customers and our guests are experiencing through a journey. And I think that technology is really valuable in the way that it can help us with a few things. It can reduce the mundane. It can reduce the tasks that are just culpable for people to actually mistakes, and reduce our mistakes, right? Which improve performance and profit. But also the technology and the data can also be harnessed in order to personalize us and get us to understand the guest better. But where we seem to have, like, let's say, a little bit more debate, where we have a little bit more interesting material, is how to split the lines, right? Where is the technology going to go in the future? How much of this is going to be, let's say, delegatable to people, but what can be picked up? And I'm astonished how everyone's used ChatGPT already in their systems. I thought I was really ahead when I thought of that like a few months ago. Now it's like, oh wait, everyone else seems to have brought this amazing knowledge management into their systems. And I think this is really important to understand that each particular guest is different. Each particular guest will receive, essentially, if we're going to delight them, they need to get a different type of experience. But the traditional use of technology has actually been to aggregate knowledge to kind of create a database, a selection, a curation of different options, and thereby give, I think, this more pleasurable experience to select and do it. But also, there's an economic benefit of using technology to create this competition, whether friendly or not, to stimulate and grow the hospitality industry. Okay, can we agree that these are some pretty good insights now from all the speakers to essentially define this this industry that we all work in. Okay, with that, Furkan, take us to the next topic.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jim, for concluding the first discussion about the definition of hospitality industry that I can say. Now, the second topic is, I believe, is going to be more exciting because we will talk about the how technology is applied to the hospitality industry. And this is we will cover so many things about AI. And I believe Mr. Olga has like asked some questions about this as well on the comment chat. I think later you can ask this directly to the speakers. Okay, now Mr. Jing, please take over the floor again and lead the discussion with these speakers.
Okay, so the first question establishes essentially what hospitality is and how our speakers and our experts are seeing it. Now let's talk about some of the pitfalls. Let's talk about some of the actual practical experiences and such. We touched upon a few brief examples, but let's kind of go over the history and see where we are. Let me start with Mr. Ginto. Mr. Ginto, can you tell us about the most useful and the most useless technology integration that you've ever seen, right? Which particular implementations have been, oh, that's astounding, that's great, and which ones have been just, it's backfired and you wish maybe you've never used it. So let's begin with Mr. Ginto.
Okay, right now I think again I will give the perspective from the HR. We use Trust You to gather all the comment from, let's say, from the booking.com, from Traveloka and others platform, and this Trust You can give us the specific sentiment in per section. Let's say the sentiment about the Wi-Fi, about the room cleanliness, about the service, about the food and beverage, let's say. So from the data, we can create the training plan, the specific training plan for let's say for that specific particular weeks or months, something like that. So the goal is really specific. So we as an HR, we not just make the plan without the real objective.
Evidence. Okay, excellent. That's pretty amazing. Would you ever feed that training plan to a robot so that the execution would be perfect? Okay, just kidding. But okay, in other ways, Mr. Ginto, okay, so that sounds like Trust You has been actually a very good tool to understand a large body of information and then make clear plans from it, strategical plans from it. Have there been any cases that you'd like to share where using technology did not work out or resulted in unexpected results?
Well, maybe another speaker can share about it.
Okay, we'll pass the ball.
I believe right now, okay, all the technology that we are use, I can say yes, very useful.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. Let's go to Mr. Adib. Mr. Adib, the hard question. I don't know if maybe you had to sign a waiver not to answer hard questions here, but has there been like things that ticket that you go, whoa, that was not actually something that was a technology solution. That was something that needed a human to do that, or maybe it backfired in a way where the user adoption or the people didn't react the way that you thought. And Ms. Ida, I'll get back to you because I saw you smile, right? So you might have a good answer to that too. But Mr. Adib, what say you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if we are talking about technological adoptions, there are many things that, well, if you are talking about technology, there will always be new features, new product that we introduce to users that might be user accept or not. That's really depends on how they interact, right? So maybe this also insight for non-technological audience that we actually track how the interactions between users and features, right? Do they like it? Does it make their satisfaction higher and etc.? There are so many ways to do this. So yeah, I think the one most of example that I can think of right now is some changes in the user interface, right? So maybe we are changing something that might be with having a certain goal to make it easier, but it backfired. It makes the user like, okay, why I usually found this button over here, but I cannot find it anymore. That's the one of the most simple things. So I think you sometimes playing with the familiarity, or maybe you found playing around with the novelty kind of things. But again, every technological things that we need to or offer to user need to be tested properly. If it is indeed like make the user unhappy with a certain metric that we have, then okay, why should we keep this? Just throw it away, make something new, or invent something new, or improve it straight away.
Got it. Okay, so don't keep features that actually don't add any delight to the user experience. Don't move the buttons. Got it. Okay, user. No, this is actually a really interesting connection point, which is essentially, I feel oftentimes that the user experience, the user interface, the actual way your apps feel, the way the buttons move, that seems like the hospitality layer for a lot of technology companies. It's where you can actually really think about, are you delivering delight? Are you actually thinking about what the feeling, the emotional point is at the point of experience? Mr. Adib, do you happen to use Google Analytics 4 by any chance?
G Analytics, yes, we do. Yes, we do actually.
Do you like how they've changed everything now and can't find it?
Yeah, I mean, things happens. That's why we are trying to ingest it to another platform to make it much more easier to use. So rather than depends on the cluster thing over there, just move it away to something that we are more familiar and much more comfortable.
I would say if Google was a hospitality company, that's probably where they lost me, right there. I was like, why are all the buttons gone now? I can't find anything.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why they're playing with your familiarity. That usually you found this button here somewhere. It may be cost you only several seconds, but several seconds times how many you do it, and it will be piling up anyway.
It's costing me several weeks right now just finding where everything is. It's like before I could find landing page information fairly easily, but now it's actually pretty complicated. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we see that, okay, this idea of getting technology and getting the actual users to use it is an important part of I think the hospitality experience and actually getting, let's say, the traction. Okay, let's keep on going. Ida, I said I'd come back to you. So what say you? Where are some things that you see that have worked well, and what are some things that you see kind of probably should not be using, let's say, AI or any of these particular tools to get the objective done?
Yeah, thank you. So I will try to answer basically from the perspective of a meta search company and like specifically the team that I'm in, right? So I would say the biggest technological advancement, even before I actually started working at Trivago, was for me knowing all the players and everything that happens in the hospitality industry, right? Like companies are able to fetch billions of pieces of information, right? This could be information about the prices, this could be information about availability and etc. Every single second for every single request that the user is making. So you can imagine, like, at least I can give an example from Trivago. It's like every single second for the request of the user, we're basically fetching information about the prices from more than 5 million accommodations, over more than 200 advertisers. And then I think we're talking here, I would ballpark the number about 2 million visits per day. And so you can imagine like the speed and accuracy of all this information that is needed and required to deliver basically this final result to the user, right? And this is where I would say like a lot of, for instance, meta search companies like Trivago or TripAdvisor or Skyscanner, they're able to provide this information in an accurate form to the user. And I would say maybe a second one from here in this perspective would be, yes, of course, where we want to deliver to the user as much information as possible, right? Like to help them compare like all the available deals in the market. But some of the advertisers or like hoteliers or OTAs, they might not have a good landing page for the users to be able to complete their booking process, right? If they're interested. So one of the things that actually we also try to do with Trivago is kind of have this booking website at Trivago on behalf of, let's say, whatever advertiser the user is looking for. So they might actually offer a good price, but they might not have a good landing page for user to actually finish the process, you know? And so in this particular case, we are doing something like express booking, where we are trying to help the users to complete the whole process on our website instead of going, let's say, one step further to the advertiser. But of course, I mean, I would say like not everything that we do ends up being like a success, right? And then one thing I really like about the culture at Trivago, I hear myself. Okay. I hear myself. I'm not sure if that is.
There's a bit of an echo. Yeah, I hear that too. Wait, let me see if I turn off my microphone, maybe.
Hello. Yes, this is better. So yeah, so basically what I was saying is like not everything obviously that we do ends up being a success. And what I really like about Trivago is that we do a lot of experiments. We do a lot of A/B tests to figure out what the users like, what the advertisers like or not. So for instance, one of, I would say, not so much successful things that we did back in the days was having this unnecessary features and add-ons on the website, and one of them was, for instance, display ads. Yes, of course, display ads were not really like, you know, super unrelated. They were actually about recommendations for destinations people could travel, or even like the website for booking, for instance, stuff on the cars or renting services, etc. Right? But what we saw actually that this draws a lot of attention from the main product that we're advertising on the website. And so after a couple of months of testing, we have decided actually to remove display ads because they were not necessarily adding a lot of useful information for the users, and eventually, yeah, that made basically the process a lot more complicated and confusing, and not providing any real value.
Excellent. Wow. Okay. Thank you for that download of information. Okay. So this is actually, this would be my follow-up question. So it sounds like you're working with gigantic data sets. There's all this information coming. There's all this kind of like flurry of activity, and you're using experiments to find out about how the users are. Have you kind of, what sort of are some really good data science insights that, let's say, you can see, having seen all this information about a wide variety of people, that, let's say, somebody who is operating at an individual property level would probably not know about, and could be actually pretty insightful, and that you could share at a conference with 300 people?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is the kind of information that I can share, basically, that is not confidential. But I would say maybe something about the data that they provide, right? So like think about a platform where, I don't know, as I mentioned, like more than 5 million accommodations are being advertised, right? And that we have to choose, for instance, the best 25 to display on the first page. So what, for instance, the advertisers really undermine is like the amount of information they provide. So what they do is like maybe they sometimes provide just the minimum information about where the hotel is located, and yeah, the name, not even providing the, for instance, the pictures, right? But this and additional like information about amenities, about basically how much they're willing to bid on the property, or about the pictures, about the reviews, etc. So all of this information actually might eventually make the hotel stand out, or like be ranked higher on the website, right? Like, so I would say, at least from the hotelier side, they sometimes end up undermining the amount of information that they provide. But this is something that where there could be a lot of improvement, right? In terms of quality, in terms of coverage. And obviously, I guess the more information, the better, because here's a Trivago, there is a group of data hungry scientists willing to, you know, operate with this big data and actually make recommendations a lot more personalized for the users. And eventually this is like a two-way street, where the more information they provide, the better we're able to do the recommendations to the user. And that's a win eventually for them at the end of the day, right?
Okay, okay, fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Let's go over to who hasn't given a shot this round. Let's go over to Amanda. Amanda, okay, same topic in general, right? So having looked at how technology and automation, perhaps AI is even used, what are some success cases where you've seen like that works great? And what are some cases where you just wished maybe we just kept it to a more traditional method?
Okay. From I think I can also make a we are trying to make an adaptation from the meta search and also the OTA. So on the hotel industry, we also create like a revenue management system. So previously, to get the information from our hotel competitors, we need to call one by one, asking how's today, how many revenue that you get, and also we need to search manually when is the holiday season, when for example, the European try to book their hotel for the summer holiday. So at the moment with the revenue management system, the AI technology is also helping us to gather the data within maybe just a second, and they can also create like a, how do you call it? For example, the rates. So from day by day, we can also see the different rates. I think it's also similar with what OTA provides, right? So for example, for today, we can offer you for $100 rooms, but for tomorrow, because the occupancy is rising as well as the hotel competitors, we can offer you maybe 200, maybe 500, depends on the high season, right?
Wow. Okay. Hopefully I get the 100 night deal, especially since I'm your host today. Okay.
I think
Great.
it's very useful for us because without any supporting data, we cannot provide like the base rates, the best, for example, the occupancy and the best possible revenue that we can offer to the management.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Nobody is talking about their failures yet, so maybe I need to start with one. I'll think about what I've used in terms of technology that didn't work out while I ask. Okay. Let's. Well, maybe Amanda, do you have any maybe lighthearted stories? Maybe you put like I don't know, a Nest monitor inside the kids center, and that thing just kind of like dialed up the thermostat too much, and the kids were unhappy. Or like, are there any times when let's say using technology didn't work in, let's say, the favor of providing great hospitality?
I think in the hospitality industry, because even we are located in the same area, yeah, for example in Seminyak, but the guests and also the customer is always different. For the 5-star hotel and also for a 4-star hotel, the customer may be different. So with using this same technology, it may create the not a pleasing journey for our guests. So one thing that I remember from one of the hotel in Indonesia, they are trying to having a robot. So the robot will deliver your room service, or maybe if you need an extra towel, the robot will provide it. But sometimes the human is also needed. For example, they are ordering for a French fries, and you just giving the French fries, and they are asking for a ketchup or maybe the salt or something. They cannot talk to the robots, right? They need the human to discuss about that. So I think for the using of any kind of the robots or maybe the Google VRs, it's not really possible at the moment to use in the hospitality industry.
Interesting. Okay, okay. I like that analogy. I like that example. So the robot shows up with French fries, but you're like, I want mayonnaise, or I want ketchup, or okay, all right, fascinating, fascinating. Okay, so that's a case of deploying technology maybe in a way that it counteracted. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to let's see who hasn't spoken yet. Archana. Okay. So let's think about this, right? So this can come from either a tech perspective or a hospitality perspective. It can be even about tools we use inside our own organizations, maybe using Slack versus Discord versus Coda versus Notion versus, but have there been times when you've seen, let's say, for technology not work in the favor of actually creating better guest experiences or better company experiences or any type of experiences where it doesn't really add value to the underlying goals that we have?
Okay, so we were in the recent past working on a project called Dish Search. What we wanted to accomplish from this project was, like, if a user searches for a dish through the search console, we show the relevant restaurants which have those dishes, and the dish name also reflects along with the restaurant name. So that was the intent behind the project.
Oh, that's cool. Okay,
So
yeah.
we wanted to employ a SaaS company called NanoNets to do this menu tagging for us. So we have restaurant menus, right? So we wanted them to tag the menus for us so that it's easier for us to give it to the database, and it shows to the customer. So
Sure.
what happened midway was the company, because it was running into losses on that particular line of business, they had to let go of that line of business, and we were stuck in the middle. Like we didn't know what to do. So it led to a bad organization experience. But what we eventually did was we did the OCR, which is like we tried to identify the dishes ourselves, we tagged the dishes ourselves, and used AI to do the automated tagging for other menus as well. So eventually it worked out well because we saved out on a lot of money. And we build our capabilities on the AI aspect as well. So the initial experience was bad, but the end result was really good. So yeah,
Okay, that sounds like a great success. So this is actually really interesting. It stirs almost two new questions, which is there's this idea that you can, I think Ada sort of spelled it out, right? That you can use a lot of data to start understanding the journey of the user behavior. I think that was also touched on by Adib, right? So is it then possible? Now this is combining a lot of things now. So traditionally BVU talk, we talked about data science, right? Is it possible then, right, to use data science as, let's say, a guide way, as a way to determine how to provide features that actually provide value? And kind of like this sounds like your example actually sounds like it sounds like actually just good business strategy, but it sounds like, okay, you're using a bit of AI and then you're guided by data science. But if you, let's say, take data science and artificial intelligence together, can you kind of discover new things and new formulas and new services that are going to be rock star quality, that are going to be like, whoa, hey, this is what my users really. Can you use AI on your data to help you understand your customer better?
Yeah. So
what say you?
Sorry. Okay. So our sales team was facing a problem wherein, our big ticket clients, like the biggies, which generate a lot of revenue for us, they had this notion that our discovery platform is not, the customers that they're getting is not because of our discovery platform, but because the restaurants are famous themselves. So they were having a tough time retaining customers in that sense. And what we did as a team was we identified, so when a user goes to the search console, they type a keyword and we show the restaurant recommendations, right? So if the person ends up booking the restaurant, then, it's a conversion for us. So we try to match the search keyword with the restaurant name. And if both of them match, we know that it's a restaurant intent, like the person knew the restaurant, they searched for it and ended up reserving. But if they don't match, we know that our discovery worked. And it gave such alarming results. Like we got to know that we are actually doing really well on the discovery aspect. And because Show especially, has been in the market for so long, we have a huge customer base. So a lot of new customers were going into these restaurants which through our discovery platform, and that gave us a good bargaining power. Like we were able to renegotiate a lot of contracts. We were able to retain, and like the future is good because we know where we stand right now. So
that's really incredible. So so the confusion was basically because restaurants were getting discovered, they thought it was because we're famous in the first place, so so people find us. But you're proving through.
It's a very valid point also, like the famous restaurants will have this notion, but we need to know how to use data to figure how to answer these questions, and the data is magical that way.
Okay. I can see Ginto and Amanda going back to maybe Ida at Trivago to maybe renegotiate some things. Yeah, and go like, maybe we're getting traffic because we're just famous. Maybe also to Hadid as well. Okay, well, no, that's actually really interesting. That does sound like actually an industry trigger there. Okay, okay, all right. So we're getting kind of like a hang of this, but we still haven't really gotten some juicy stories yet about technology fails, right? What are some ways that like technology really slapped us in the face and didn't get us what we expected? Does anybody have any experience from previous jobs that they would like to talk about? Okay, all right. Let's talk about implementation and perhaps some of the challenges with implementation of rolling out technology. Is it always just like a great idea can actually be put into practice, or are there frictions along the way that let's say, hey, look, it's not like this isn't a great idea, but because of this particular reason, it's just not practical, or it's not feasible, or whatever. Okay, I'm sure perhaps most of us have had one of those experiences. Let's go to Ginto for the second round, right? So have we had any cases where there's just like great ideas, but hey, it's just this is not the right market, or it's just too costly, or maybe too many competitors are using it already. What say you, Mr. Ginto?
Yeah, probably I'm not the the one who can answer it properly, but I try to answer that.
Okay. We have other questions. We have other questions if you want.
Okay, but before I answer this one, I think I have to say this one. I don't know if it's a failure or not. Sometimes or oftenly we see our teams. Nowadays most of teams in hotel industry using the WhatsApp for the communication, to share the videos, to share the update of their departments, but they are sometimes forget to pay attention to the guests.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, we are still working on this one. Sometimes, their boss texting, and then their HOD texting, and they need to answer it right away, but they forget in front of them there's a guest to be handled.
Yes,
I think this is one of the maybe failures, or something that need to be to find out the solution, to find out the the solution, how to use the technology more wise.
Oh, God,
I think in hospital industry, the most essential things is to pay attention to the guests, right?
Yes,
so that's why we call it ourselves as a hospitality industry. So,
wow. You know what? I think you've refocused the entire discussion here. That is so true. I noticed that a lot. Like when we brought our company to all remote, Book of Vista works entirely remote now. What the weakest thing became was, instead of actually handling a guest problem, people just kept on opening their screens and checking facts, right? So there's a guest that's complaining, and instead of actually dealing with the guest that's complaining and calling them up and saying, hey, look, I'm here to help you, they would just check facts. It would become almost like a legal case, right? Did the guest do this wrong themselves? Do I blame them? You know, and then it became all this research that's happening in the meantime. The situation with the guest is not getting any better, right? And because they're unable to see this now with their own eyes as they would be able to if they were in front of an actual person, that part just started becoming normal, right? Like, okay, everyone else is online looking at screens, so I'm online, but the guest, and when you get to be the guest, you see that that's not helpful at all. You're just dealing with a person who's not even present. Wow. Okay. Yes, that is kind of like the drawback to a technology, and perhaps by using the technology, we're seeing, let's say, a compromise in the overall guest experience. Let's go down that particular pattern. Mr. Adit, have you seen that happen? Like, let's just say, in terms of customer service at your organization, do you wish that your teams or the people or the culture would be more user focused, more in front of people, more like less online and more offline?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes we can agree that apps or website or technology is not the answer, right? Like, if you are talking about hospital industry, you are talking about people, you are talking about humans. Sometimes, especially if you're talking about emotions, direct communication with them is crucial. I'm not specifically saying this about a certain platform or anything, but many of us in the technological space are much more focusing into build this app, build this feature, build this anything, but you forgot about, okay, you are talking to a human, you are talking to a certain user that they have a specific need, right? Not all of your solution can be applied to all of them. So again, there are some cases where technological things cannot solve it directly for now. But yeah, I mean, direct communications, direct emotional touch will be crucial here.
Excellent. Okay, now we're getting some momentum. This emotional touch is crucial. Do you think maybe that's where AI could come in, right? So let's say in the past we have a roadblock there, right? We have a person who's, let's say, disengaged. We have a response that's very mechanical. Let's say we plugged in the AI now, right? And whether the AI is working in conjunction with a human or just by itself, could the AI eventually become the solution to give highly emotive responses? And who here has watched Her? Has anybody ever watched that movie Her, where the guy's dating his operating system? Yeah. Okay. Could we get to that stage and almost like, okay, all right. So you're not talking with AI, you're talking with me, right? You're talking with I have a name, right? Where you start building that could that be a possibility in the not so distant future? What do you think, Mr. Adit?
Yeah, the interesting thing is, I mean, I assume all of you have ever heard about ChatGPT, right? Before, it is making some it is making some big news lately everywhere. There are some people who testing regarding, do ChatGPT able to give a much more empathetic answer to user based on like certain kind of things, right? And the answer is surprisingly yes in some cases. So this is the thing that I'm also surprised as well. But again, this is the thing that if I can say, properly trained human would be almost 99% outperform chatbot to this kind of scenarios actually. Because I think humans supposed to be very much more sensitive to like human emotion and anything, and ChatGPT need to be like direct input from us, right? So I'm angry, you should not be saying something like that. So GPT know if you are angry. So yeah, this is the thing that can be become the issue if we are just blindlessly adapting AI to the hospitality industry. So yeah, yes, AI can be an answer, but not every problem the answer is AI as well. So you need to pick carefully between what you're supposed to be applying AI and which one that's supposed to be directly communicated and handled by human itself.
Oh my goodness. Okay, now you've touched upon some really, really gold nuggets here. All right, so let's expand that. Properly trained humans are also very hard to properly train. I mean, if we're talking about, let's say, an industry, if we're talking about let's say a core, a big hotel, or no hotel, you're talking about like training thousands of people across thousands of cultures, across thousands of locations, and to have that level of training, I realize requires almost like a 5-to-1, right? You need to start with 5 people and maybe eventually get a few people who really get it, who can be deft at it. And I think hospitality is oftentimes an art form too as well. It requires quite a lot of practice. It requires real strong emotional intelligence and really understanding. And this can be challenging too across different languages. You've got people coming from different countries. As guests, you have people in different countries. And so I've dealt with the scaling of, let's say, hospitality in terms of properly trained human. And I've gone, that's really difficult. We can just load everything into ChatGPT, and if it can be allegedly more empathetic than a human, which I sometimes find to be true too. I never get a really bad answer from ChatGPT. I go like, you're 80% right, but you got that location wrong. Seminyak is not in Yogyakarta, right? Like, and then it will say, sorry, I got that wrong, and it will apologize. I was like, this is uncanny how powerful it is. But okay, now we're touching upon like this idea of safety, I guess, right? Which is AI safety. We get these benefits, I think, if we're thinking about scale, if we're thinking about how to like let's say deploy into massive areas, which is the real main benefit of any technology. But we also get this feeling of danger, right? And what can we give to it? What should we not give to it? Is it really going to get better? So maybe that's kind of like a good segue now. Let's go to Archana. Archana, how dangerous is AI? how much could we all lose our jobs because there's a really better AI moderator that's been listening to you much closer and remembered everything about your background, right? And didn't forget your name and remember where you went to college and everything else, and then connect it to the other speaker and found out that you have commonalities and was able to bridge that. And would I be able to be replaced with an AI, right? Would let's say a lot of hospitality jobs, and would that be a good thing or a bad thing? So AI safety, what do you think about that?
So I think the core of human is human interaction. Like, we can't really do without it. So the reason why we travel, the reason why we go out of our homes is because we seek interaction. So I don't think ever, like humans can ever be replaced by AI completely. But yes, we need to know where to balance. We need to know how to harmonize this relationship so that, we reap the goodness out of it rather than, disappoint everyone around. So one very plain, simple example that comes into my mind, which seems as a, I will not call it useless, but I'll call it not the need of the hour use case. So, like a robot concierge or a robot waiter, like they don't work out, like, because we seek human interaction, right? So they don't work out that way. And also in the sense that robots, if they function as waiters with the sensors and the camera that they have, they can capture information that can be very crucial to the customer. So I think in that aspect, we need to figure out what, like how harmoniously we can fit in AI into this world. And
Wow.
that again is the definition of perfect, like the harmonious definition is very subjective. Every organization need to figure it out and evolve themselves accordingly. So I think
Correct.
it's
Correct.
a discussion for a good set of people to figure out.
I guess that's what we're trying to do here, right? We're trying to kind of bring people together and
Yeah.
and kind of forge a future. Okay, Furqan, let's see. Do we have any stand and speak, folks?
Okay, Mr. Ege, you actually have jot down some comments and also questions on the chat bot. Would you on the chat box? Would you like to probably speak up and ask the question directly to the speakers here, Mr. Ege Ozora? Calling once, twice. Oh, I think Mr. Ege is like probably have some connections issues. So I guess now we can proceed first to the I think we can conclude first with the third discussion on the can the human touch can ever be replaced by the artificial intelligence, since Miss Arcana already said that. So why don't we bridge them to the third discussion? What do you
Sounds
think,
good.
sir?
Yeah, I think it's great. So let's quickly conclude the second part, and then we already have a kind of already built a bridgehead for the final big talk, right? So we can see that technology is it's a delicate matter to actually implement. It's not always going to work out the way we think. We do need to use testing. We do need to collect data. We need to understand our users. And it's pretty interesting that we can actually, I think Mrs. Amanda spoke about the revenue management system collecting all the data points and then creating a revenue management system that would traditionally be very, very lengthy and manual, but once implemented provides us astonishing results by understanding what are the correct rates to price our rooms. And I think this particular direction, this journey has been added to by Mr. Ginto, actually, with understanding it's not just numerical data, but it's also qualitative data about reviews that we can collect with applications like TrustYou, and we can understand sentiments and then start plans for our teams. But it's also this human technology engagement perhaps can be a distraction. It can distract us from actually paying attention to focusing on the person really in front of us, the person who's actually paying us to stay in their accommodations too. And I think we've also learned from Mr. Adib that sometimes tech is not the answer. That I think similar to what you were saying earlier about the complaint management, that people do want to talk to people if they're upset, and this ability to manage the emotions is so important, and have that connection. It kind of reminds me also of what Ms. Amanda spoke about with the CRM, right? We tend to remember our guests when we have something delightful to present to them. But do we remember our guests when they got angry again, right? Oh, this is the guest who's always angry with me. And okay, all right. So I can see that before it happens, yeah. But okay, and also from Ms. Archana, we see that we can use data and information to discover which particular methods we can use to deliver guest delight. That if we try a particular method, such as collecting menus and having them tagged, it could be actually improved by just using some cool tech like optical character recognition to scan it and then use the powers of data to discover and provide a solution, a feature for our potential guests. Okay, excellent. Okay, thank you. So that wraps up stage 2. Let's go into the last and final segment of the discussion. Hopefully everybody's still here. I don't know, like, let's see, how many people do we, 266. Okay, so we're kind of getting to the last phase here, and hopefully all the speakers are still energetic. I'm trying to keep my energy strong, that's for sure. All right, last phase. Okay, this is where kind of like the rubber meets the road. So with Adil, let's take a look at oh, okay, it's already up. Now, can the human touch ever be replaced? The main theme of our discussion. Can we imagine a world where each of us are doing less, or the AI is doing more, or some sort of hybrid system? This is where we take everything that we've learned so far and ask the really deep questions. So let's say this, right? Let's say, what is hospitality? We've agreed that it's understanding the person. We agreed it's making the person feel a certain way. Can we make people feel really, really good by understanding everything there is to know about them? And then applying that to millions of people, to billions of people, such that they can walk away feeling like, hey, pretty consistently understood. And could we even do that using human beings in hospitality, right? Maybe that's the ultimate, let's say, application of AI. But then I think what Ms. Archana said is, what's the harmonious balance, right? What do we actually foresee as the correct stable point for that, and not kind of remove us? But without being alarmist, without being like, oh, this is the end of the world and whatever, and too afraid of technology, can we look at any historical patterns we've seen, right, where technology didn't work or we thought too much of it? I'm thinking blockchain. Blockchain last year was all about like, oh, it's going to change the world, but that didn't really happen, I guess. Okay. Let's start with Mr. Adib. This is kind of like the conclusion we're reaching. What do you see? What do you foresee as, let's say, the harmonious balance that Mr. Archana spoke about?
Yeah, I think if we are looking technology itself and AI to a certain extent, we are seeing that it's supposed to be helping us to solve our everyday issues, right? And I think the manpower and capability of technology or AI itself supposed to be like taking care of all of our repetitive things that we need to do every day. So we are human as maybe like much more capable, or as I said, so properly trained human can focus much into like high priority kind of things. Mm-hmm. So if we are back again to the customer service kind of thing, if it is only like searching for information, asking like basic questions, it doesn't need to be answered by the human. If we can give them straight away using the chatbot or something and still have the correct answer, right? But properly trained human, as you, Mr. Jing said, it is costly. Retain them is very costly, right? Their hourly basis time in your company is very costly. So we need to make them focus more into much more high priority kind of things, right? So you don't need like multiple or huge amount of highly trained people, but maybe like enough to take care of the high priority tasks, or maybe very specific tasks. But for the repetitive tasks, just let it be to the technology to solve it.
Got it. Do you see a way, and I'm kind of thinking, let's say like Elon Musk and Neuralink, where you kind of upgrade your brain up to like what the AI can see. Do you see kind of a way where, let's say, you can apply human intuition to, let's say, this knowledge base? I'm thinking this, right? I'm thinking like, isn't there just, we talked about retention, right? Some of you have worked 15 years in one job. Some of you probably have worked just a few years in a job, but coming from, let's say, an institution that wants to remain like a Novotel or a Core or any the particular brands that you host on Trivago, like these are institutions and they have so much knowledge, right? And when somebody leaves that institution, that knowledge is just kind of lost. How do you retain that? How do you keep that knowledge back into, let's say, the successor, right? So maybe the successor doesn't have the knowledge, but then the successor can kind of tap into that particular knowledge that's been accumulated to do it. Do you think there's a hybrid form of work where, let's say, or a change in our work style where we have to use AI to actually kind of do our jobs in order to be competitive and effective at it in hospitality?
If we are talking about the training people itself, I think Mr. Ginto know it better than me how to train people in the hospital industry. But I think about the knowledge transfer, I think this is common issue everywhere, not really exclusively on the hospitality industry by itself.
Sure.
So I mean, having a standard procedural way to tackle things is one of the initial thing that we can do. So at least we have like certain standard, right? So this is the thing that need to be done for a certain event or certain issues. That's the minimum. And then you can personalize based on what you have for your company or for your hotels. That's given. Yeah, I think training human will always be hard and costly, but but we can see that how the human capability really is, and I think the improvement we can make them do further than the what usually we teach them, right? The like flexibility and how they adapt to certain situations will make them better.
I have a fascinating question. Do you think humans will be trained by AI in the near future?
Do you think human will be trained by AI in the future?
Right. So let's say instead of having, we're already beginning to feel this, right? Online classes, quiz from Udemy or wherever, you're already kind of being sort of trained by an AI.
Yep.
Is that kind of the repetitive work that a teacher has to do, or
okay.
Yeah.
So I think if personally, if you are asking me something like that, then my question for you back would be, do we already replace teacher with Google?
Good question, which is an excellent question, because what I've been hearing a lot is this too as well, right? And this is kind of like one of the realizations here. Maybe this whole idea of AI has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my goodness, there's AI all of a sudden, right? AI has been here on your search in Trivago. AI has been in ticket.com. AI has been sort of amongst us on Google for a very long time, yet we never have felt it as called AI before. It just sort of, it was in the background, right? And it's only recently, I would say, with things like Midjourney, ChatGPT, DALL-E, these things have actually really kind of made us more, oh wow, there's AI, right? But it's kind of always been there, and yet we always have jobs, and we're still harmoniously balanced, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I would say Google is a teacher.
I mean, I have an opinion where we can see AI is similar like revolution that we have. I mean, if you are looking at the historical things, we see that we have what we call as industrial revolutions, where we are changing into steam engine to make human much more like productive, right? So I can see technology and AI is similar in that way. So this is kind of AI revolution where it's supposed to be help human to evolve higher, right? To go faster, to go better. But again, technology AI is just a tools. Then it depends for us to decide to a certain extent what we can do and what we cannot do with this.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Now let's pass the question over to Archana, actually. Ms. Archana, do you think that the right question is not whether or not AI will replace a hospitality job, but will it be more like the person who uses AI really well will replace the person who doesn't use AI in their day-to-day work? Is it more like that, or how do you actually foresee this? Like, as a data scientist, I'm sure you can maybe actually code faster or analyze models or get verification. What say you?
So I completely agree with you on this aspect that for you to stay relevant in the market now, you need to have technical capabilities. Like, you can't just be done with good communication skills. You need to know how to work with analytics. And it's not like you have to be in data science to be working with a basic thing like analytics. You can use analytics in, very basic of the jobs as well. So I think it's very important to stay technologically relevant. And you were asking Adib about this, AI being the teacher. I'll give you one example. The dish search project, I was an active participant in it, and I used ChatGPT to generate a lot of codes. So it actually, taught me OCR. So I think, I think we just, learning nowadays has become so easy. So I think we should leverage this opportunity and just, make good use of what we have in our hands right now.
Oh my goodness, that's a brilliant insight. So I think that kind of extends that. Okay, I do feel the impact of AI now. Whereas Google could only give you knowledge, ChatGPT can give you knowledge and the actual delivery, right? It can tell you this is what you should do and here's how to do it, right? And let me do it for you. Wow. But then it seems like a question of how do you ask questions? How do you ask good questions, right? How do you become a really smart learner? Wow.
I think the
Okay.
key is that you should know what problem you're trying to solve, how you will solve it, but like the depth of it, I think can be like at least till the intermediate level, ChatGPT can surely help you. So like now
Interesting.
you don't have an edge. Like now, if I go and search for jobs saying that I know Python, it's not that
Right.
big a deal anymore. Like
Correct.
who
Correct.
knows basic problem solving skills can use ChatGPT and probably like just start off at the basic level at least.
Okay, we're going to invent Hotel GPT, which is essentially like a script for every type of problem. So you just listen to the guest and then it'll tell you, okay, this is what you need to say. Yeah, so this will make the guest happy. Okay, very fascinating, very fascinating. I like the way that you actually introduced that example. And thank you, Mr. Chani, for many fascinating examples. Mr. Ginto, okay, Mr. Ginto, what do you think? We're all kind of in management level, right? So I guess our positions are fairly safe, yeah. But is it really understanding the problem, really understanding how to now creatively kind of go about, okay, what do I do with this and what do I do with that? Is that what, let's say, provides job security? Is that what provides a career for the 200 people here in this room that are still here? Hopefully listening to this part. This part's important, right? Can this be, let's say, the key takeaway that instead of being afraid of AI, how do you actually integrate it into your workflow to learn faster, to solve problems faster, and then to make people happier actually using this cool technology? What do you think, sir?
Okay, let me just answer by asking a question.
Sure.
Let's say, if we are in the same business, I invest in a lot of money for the advanced technology. And you, Mr. Jing, also do the same things, the same technology. So what is the difference then? The difference is the people or the human who operate it.
Yes.
So I still believe the tech existence is not to replace, but to help us to just like I mentioned before, to overcome our carelessness, to make us more what's it called, to optimize our work, and at the end to get a better profit. That's.
Do you think certain types of work then will be more valuable when everyone has the tech, right? And certain types of work might be, let's say, less valuable if we have the tech. Let's say, I don't know, what's a good example? Digital marketing, right? I think when digital marketing first came out in the hospitality industry, it was like a black art. It was like, how do you get this to work? It's just crazy black magic, how you can rank a search page and all this. But now you can literally go and ask questions and get web pages built for you, right? For a certain thing. So in a way, what needed, like, let's say, an entire team, you can do with one person. So is it more important now to actually understand the problem? Is it more important than ever to be a manager and have a managerial mindset, you think?
Yeah. In my opinion, even though we already aware about the, let's say, you talk about digital marketing, we already aware about this, and but in our area, let's say in Greater Jakarta, in my experience in finding the one top what to find the best, to find the good the person who in charge in that position is quite hard. So
Okay. So
people
finding talent is hard.
Yeah. So actually, we are not using that technology as optimum yet.
Okay.
And I believe friends in this room has still has a very large opportunity and to success in that position.
I agree.
Mm.
I agree. Many opportunities in the near future. Okay, let's bring this around to Ida. Miss Ida, Germany. This must be also going on over there. You guys have heard of ChatGPT. What's the future? I mean, it's you talk about these massive data sets, right? And I'm thinking like, all right, machines know how to process it. Machines know how to sort of come out with results. But ultimately, I guess it's who's going to be asking the questions, and how do we actually kind of like decide, okay, what's the human touch actually going to be at that stage? What do you predict is going to happen with, let's say, the workspace in I don't know, let's say the next 3 years when the students in this room will graduate?
Yeah, I think I might be one of rather few pessimistic people. I mean, not pessimistic in that sense, but pessimistic
Okay.
about the progress of like what the future brings. As somehow I'm thinking like to what extent this hype is overrated, right? Like, so there are a few reasons why I'm saying this. Like in the very first place, I think like simply asking the question if AI can replace the human touch, I think not everything is as black and white as it sounds. So I definitely agree there when you mentioned that maybe we're not going to be replaced by AI, but we might be potentially replaced by the person who knows how to use AI to make the job and like the whole work a lot faster and a lot more effective, right? So as of now, like knowing the information that I know today, I don't think the near future really brings any kind of replacement. So for a couple of reasons. One is, I would say, the data privacy. And what I really mean here is that, I don't know if you have heard about this example from Samsung, where they actually use ChatGPT to deploy something to production with their code. And then they realized that there is a massive bug and that they had to recheck the code and then revert everything in production, right? Like, so yes, of course, there is a ChatGPT who can tell us answers, but I still feel like we need people with technical background to actually be able to check this code. So at this point in time, we cannot rely fully on the ChatGPT and whatever result that is kind of telling us, right? In the second place, I would say it's about the scale and application of it. Of course, most of the people who are currently using ChatGPT, unless I guess you're on a premium version, there are sometimes like that you cannot even actually log in because there is a massive usage capacity that you cannot basically exceed. So you actually cannot use it. And then to what extent in the coming 3 years, this technology will be at a scale where it's able to handle all the data in the world, right? Like, and at the scale that this information is growing. So like, I think that's the second aspect that that I'm thinking. And in the third place, I think this is rather, I would say, mild, let's say, excuse, but currently the training data for the ChatGPT and the answers that it's providing, it's very limited, right? Like, I think it's up to 2021, etc. And then again, considering the scale and the speed at which the data grows, maybe this is actually somehow outdated data, and we're not always mostly able to get the real data and the real answers with this. So, and I would say, let's not be pessimistic, right? Like back in the days, like there were a lot of technological advancement, but we still have our jobs because new jobs started appearing because the others were automated. So what the future brings, I would definitely say we're not there yet, and I'm not sure if this near future is next 3-5 years, but maybe if you ask me in 3 years, my understanding and like answer to this question would be different, because who knows what happens in 3 years. So that would be rather on a pessimistic side.
Miss Ida, do you feel like we're at, let's say, are we at a crossroad right now, like Mr. Adib said? Are we at the beginning of, saying, a steam engine. And when the steam engine comes along, then shortly after the train comes along. When the train comes along, then it doesn't make sense to ride a horse across the entire country anymore. It makes more sense to do that. So yes, we might be getting train operators, train engineers. I think the word engineer comes from actually train in the first place. But we might not have as many horsemen anymore. We might not have as many horsewomen anymore, actually. Is that this moment right now in history, you think? Or is it somewhere else? Or what do you feel?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, at least in my memory, maybe like not such a long memory, but in my memory, at least, I haven't been to a point where basically the advancement in technology was to the level where people were actually thinking about like all this kind of replacements and stuff, right? Like, so yes, I would say we're at the crossroads, but this crossroad is like very far away from us deciding like what the future eventually brings, I would say. So I would still focus on the other side of story where yes, most of the things would be automated, and I feel like yes, this is for good, but if we focus also on the things that what else can we do on top of what the technology already brings, maybe that actually gives a lot of additional perspectives into what could be there in the future, right?
What can we do with the technology? How can we use it to build things, right? I like that analogy. I think it's like, let's say, for example, somebody came out with farm equipment, and they said, okay, hey, you should use this, let's say use a horse to plow your field, right? And then later you get a tractor. And then later you use kind of like, a bigger tractor. So yeah, it seems like, yeah, it actually is, I can feed more people, right? What's the end benefit deliver through this particular use of technology? Okay, fascinating. Okay, Furkan, how much time do we have?
I think we should wrap up, and I think we should give the floor first to Miss Amanda to conclude, and after that
Yes.
we can close the discussion.
Okay. All right, Amanda, I guess you're going to be the anchor person here now. So,
Okay.
all right. What do you think? I mean, you've had a career, a journey through hospitality. You live in Bali. This is one of the probably fastest changing markets in the world in terms of its exposure to tourism, in terms of kind of like the chaos and good things that can happen, right? I don't know if you were there when the hotel was surrounded by rice paddies, but anyways, I think you might have seen a lot of these things happen along your career path. So does this one feel different? Does this one feel like it's going to just be another wave, like maybe I don't know, Pokemon Go, or like, the spinner thing, or even the pandemic was just 2 years, right? Or is this something really that's a long-term disruption? Is this going to change the way that we work? Is this going to change what students should study? Is this going to change like the course of the industry? And you're going to come back and say, well, this is the moment everything changed, right? What do you think?
I think if we are talking about the AI and also technology, we can also refer back when we are hit by the COVID, because when I think around 2019, we already implement some of the technology, and we are really eager to implement all those things in our life, and we are very eager to check on our mobile phone every time, or check on our laptop or our PC anytime, every time, and anywhere. So, but when the pandemic hit in 2020, for the first month, everybody feels, yay, finally we are staying at home. We can check on our mobile phone for 24 hours. And for the third month, it's still okay. But after 6 months, people is already getting bored, and they are trying to look for the real human interactions. So,
Wow.
for example,
Okay.
they are using Zoom, or they are using any digital platform, but they are trying to look for the human interaction. So I think I agree with Ada. This is very the early stage of the AI implementations. We cannot see the futures, how the AI can help us, or maybe they can replace us. But at the moment, I think the AI cannot change the way people interact with the others.
I think that's a really good point, and thank you for referring. Can't change the way we human. We be human. Okay, all right. I'm just gonna put that down in a quick note there. I think that's such a wonderful idea to actually conclude this discussion on. That we've had this experience before. We've had, let's say, our overdose of technology. We've had as much technology as we can consume. Yet somehow we chose to go back. We chose to engage with people in real ways. We chose to do webinars instead of talk to our machines all day and say, "Hey Google," or Siri, or whatever it could be. And this, I think, is the essence of what makes us human. Oh, my Google device just went off when I said that. I think this is actually one of the most important places to talk about AI, because hospitality at its essence is the human touch. Hospitality as its essence is how we make people feel. And I think this is why this particular discussion has attracted the audience and the speakers that it has today. Because if let's say this intersection between technology and industry is going to have the most amount of drama, it probably will be in an industry like ours. It probably will be in an industry where for as long as people can remember, people are serving people to deliver these delightful experiences, and people want to meet people to experience hospitality and culture and the feeling of travel. So, okay, I guess, Furkan, it's time for the conclusion. So hopefully we all feel, I think, a bit on a journey ourselves. Hopefully we've come from the foundations of hospitality, understanding what it's about, understanding how it makes us feel, understanding what are the core principles of it, then kind of taking a look at how we've traditionally implemented this integration between technology and hospitality, and then reaching into the future now and asking ourselves, what does the future have to bring? I think the clear parts are essentially the human touch will never be replaced. It will always essentially be kind of the core part of hospitality, but we can enhance the hospitality experience by reducing carelessness, by being more knowledgeable about our particular users, about our guests, by being also aware of how we can use insights and data to form better products and remain as an available channel through each technological progression to just get that information and get that choice back to our guests, and through, I guess, the magic of competition, elevate the standards of hospitality for all of us. But I think we also agree at the same time it's a little bit hard to predict, right? AI is a new animal. It is kind of fast moving. It is thinking really quickly. It's kind of like, oh, well, I haven't met a single person who really understands it yet, you know? And it's because it's just such a fast moving thing. It's so different than a traditional technology. You could say, though, well, this makes you lift something up higher. This is, increases your force. This is kind of like something where you're almost, well, what exactly does it do, right? What exactly can it do? And it's only limited by maybe your creativity, by your imagination at this point. I'm kind of reminded of a quotation that I think Steve Jobs said one time. He said that back in his day, when they were coming out with just computers, personal computers, people were afraid. And he said, it's just like a bicycle for your mind, right? So you can walk, but if you take a bicycle, you'll go further with less energy, with less effort. And maybe with AI, it's the next evolution. It's just like you can think, but if you use the AI to think, it's like a bicycle or maybe a rocket ship for your mind. It just can kind of take you across and help you solve problems that before were very difficult. Personally, in the last few weeks, I've seen AI do amazing things. I've seen AI be able to, you go from a vision to an entire product, to an entire design, to an implementation within the scope of minutes and not weeks. It gets over questions that you might have had about people, about public relations, about HR. It can really be pretty exciting sometimes just going to ChatGPT and having a really in-depth discussion. But okay, anyhow, that's pretty much it then. Thank you for our speakers today for bringing us on this journey and showing us their expert opinions and getting really into the weeds. I want to say thank you to all the speakers. I changed some of the questions on the fly. And I, we got some real, I think, really good insights. But to our audience, I think this is what the real world is about. The real world is not like in a textbook where there's definite ways. The real world does have like gray, it does have like different colors, and it has also these exciting bits of drama that are part of it. And this is essentially the purpose of, I keep on pointing this way, but I should point this way, of the BVE talk, to really bring these truths to the forefront. Okay, so thank you once again. Thank you, Mr. Ginto. Thank you, Mrs. Archana. Thank you, Mrs. Amanda. Thank you, Adib. And thank you, Ida. I can't see her. I think she might have.
Ida is leaving already because she has another meeting like currently
Thank you,
happening.
Ms. Ida, for joining us from Germany too as well. And once again, thank you to all our team, our incredible team here at Book Vista, to Furkan, Tara, Shailen, and Adil for bringing us this event. Okay.
Okay, now thank you very much, Mr. Jing, for the moderating the insightful discussion. Now I would like to hear your feedback from 238 participants here in the meeting room. How was the BVE talk today? Is it live up to your expectation earlier? Was it insightful? Was it great? Was it getting you more knowledge about the AI implementation in hospitality industry? Please fill it up so we could know what we can improve. Don't hesitate to crush everything if you have like, oh my god, very strict and very strict feedback. Just please put it down. We will very happy to hear that as well. Okay, and if you are obligated from your institutions to come, this feedback form will act as your attendance list. So please fill it as well, and make sure that you get certificate from this BVE talk. Okay. While we are waiting for you to filling up the survey, why we now look at the Slido and probably see some unanswered questions there. Okay. Ideal will guide you through the Slido. Here's the Slido, and now let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Okay. Let's do this. All right. So as I said before, we come back to the Slido, and here are our questions. So the most popular two questions are, all right. I think we try to touch upon some of these, but let's go ahead and ask the first one. Good evening. I would like to ask about the risk and limitations of artificial intelligence in business. Thank you. Okay. The risk. What is the risk? Adib? Should we start with you? What do you see as a risk?
Yeah, sure. So I think if you talk about the risk of artificial intelligence itself in the business, there are a lot actually, very a lot, if you talk honestly. But one thing that come to my mind is actually applying a dedicated artificial intelligence to your business is costly, very, very costly. That's why usually it is being utilized for something that need to be at scale, right? And artificial intelligence is being created to solve specific issues or problem. That's mean if you are failing to address the issue properly and not having the proper solution or proper output from your AI model, that's mean you are wasting money. So it can make your business go under.
Okay, got it. So not knowing how to use AI is the risk of using AI.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Interesting. Let's see. Ms. Archana, what do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with Adiv. It's a very expensive business. So we need to there has to be a lot of brainstorming prior to actually narrowing down on the project that you plan to work upon. And a lot of research has to go into before actually investing in it. So that's one of the major risks. And yeah, primarily this one. And I think companies are wise enough to identify that beforehand. Yeah, that's it. That's it from my side.
Okay, fantastic. Any of our speakers want to contribute to this first question? I'll agree. Generally, I disagree. No, I'm kidding. I'll agree on this one because it's actually pretty interesting. To get to artificial intelligence, it's a huge data pyramid, right? First, you got to gather the data, then you got to find a way to clean the data, then you find a way to interpret the data, then you have to create models for the data, and then the models don't really work because you misunderstood the data, and then you need more people like statisticians to plot everything out. And then after working for months, you might realize, oh, I should have just done this manually, right? This might have actually been better. So I think there's a lot of risk and it can be done very wrong. And you might have spent a lot of money and gotten not such good results. So I think Miss Amanda, you were talking about the pricing thing. We've been doing work and research on that for almost 2 years, and it's really, really hard to get right. We tune it for specific raising the ranking on our algorithm, and it's really, really hard. So yes, trying to use artificial intelligence, machine learning for a business can be very risky and very expensive if you don't know what you're doing, which is also hard to know what you're doing. You're kind of doing something that's, okay. Let's go to the next one. What are the negative impacts of IT in tourism? For that, I'll go to Mr. Ginto. Has IT ever been negative? Like,
Okay.
man, I wish we could use IT.
The negative impact if the Wi-Fi is not good enough.
All right, you shouldn't even do Wi-Fi. See, now they have something to complain about.
It depends. It depends, Mr. Jing, and
Okay.
I think if you are in the business property, let's say in our property, let's say in Tangerang, so many meetings and so many mice. So we need very a strong IT guy and a strong IT team. So I don't see that there is a negative impact. And
Except being distracted and not paying attention to you.
yes. so if
Too much Wi-Fi and not okay. Let's go to Miss Amanda. Miss Amanda, what do you think? Are there any negative aspects that you see with IT and tourism?
For the negative impact, I can also get an example from my previous company, because in my previous company, they are trying to implement the Google Nest in every guest room.
Oh, wow.
To reduce the they are touching for the remote control or turn on the AC, something like that.
So annoying. That would be
But not
smart.
everyone as tech savvy as the teams, right? So for example, we have the elder generation who doesn't know how to speak with the Google, and they just
There is a
say,
problem.
hello, and no answer from the Google. So that's, I think, the negative impact, because we need to have the similar understanding for every guest who are coming to our hotel.
That's amazing. That's moving the button. You see, once you move the button from the remote control to the Google Nest, people don't know how to turn off their AC anymore. So I've always found that that's the weakest part of a room, is the remote control for the AC. It is really annoying. The batteries are out and doesn't turn on, or it doesn't get the line of sight. Yeah, that's something that could really use a technology like disruption and innovation there. Okay, we got maybe a few minutes for the last one. Thank you, Mohammed Rizki. Oh, this is okay. Which is better? Minimize cost by creating AI to change and replace hospitality people, or AI to accompany hospitality human jobs? All right. Ms. Archana, would you like to give that a shot? That's a.
I'm trying to figure out the question. Minimize cost by creating change and replace.
Kind of tied to the first question, I guess.
I think we use AI to accomplish hospitality. Like, I think I'll just communicate what the gist of it is. I think we need to use AI to empower us, like,
Yes.
like how everybody has highlighted in this discussion, like do all the tasks that we usually find boring and
Yep.
utilize ourselves to do, better jobs and all in all, like growing the business, scaling the business, and not settling for the mundane. So that's what
Okay.
AI is to.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, very good. All right, back to you, Furkan.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jing, for the Q&A session. Now, I believe we can go to the presentation, the main presentation there on the BVE Talk slide. And let's see what we have after this. I believe after this, we will have a thank you very much for coming to the BVE Talk, because we officially conclude our discussion for tonight. I would like to say thank you very much again. I could not emphasize this anymore to the left 210 participants who is still eager to join us until the end of the discussion. And I think without any further ado, let's take let's taking the screenshot for documentation. I would like to next slide, please. I would like to give a shout out to our host for organizing this event, from Adil, who being the email marketer, from Shalin to doing the social media, and also to Tara for engaging with the organizations, and also Ola for doing this beautiful designs for the presentation and other design related thing in this event. Now, before closing to the documentation, I would like to, because we are talking about AI right now. Next slide, please. I think we can have a further discussion about this, about artificial intelligence in the workplace. Will it be the opportunity or threat for me? Because we've been covering the hospitality industry in general. Like, okay, now how is it the implementation in the workplace? Because you know that artificial intelligence is being placed in, can be everything. It can be in the marketing, it can be in the human resource, it can be in digital marketing. So there's so many implementation about artificial intelligence in the workplace. So let's dig further in the BVE Talk 20-second about this. Okay, I think that's all from me. Now we can shut the screen. We can now shut the screen, and let's have a documentation session right now. Okay,
so that means everybody needs to turn on their camera so that we know you're a real human and not AI.
That's correct. That's correct. Okay, I guess 200 participants now can open the camera, and also I think we need to unpin these speakers. Kasharin, could you help me to do that, to unpin the speakers so other participants can be checked as well in the screen? Okay, nice. Adil, please take over for the screenshot.
Okay, let's just wait a couple of more seconds for all the participants. Want to see your lovely faces for this screenshot.
Hey, look, it's Thea. I recognize a few people. Hey, Thea, what's up? Rosanti, Munes, Mohammed. Okay. Gideon, thank you. Luella. Wow. Okay. I you know, when you do these events, if you're a speaker, you're pretty sure you're here, but if you can't see the rest of the room, we talked about being nervous before. Sometimes I'm like, am I just here by myself? I'm just kind of talking to speakers. When you're in the actual room, you know everyone's there, right? So
yeah.
Okay, but let's see everyone's faces. I showed you my face, so you got to show us yours. Is that fair deal? Yeah.
I hope so. I hope people will be okay. I would like to see Mr. Jing's face, so it's a threat.
Here's a close up.
Okay, Adil, are you ready for the screenshot?
Yeah, sure. We can start the screenshot. Okay, everyone. Get prepared for your best poses. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's do another one. Maybe this for BVE Talk. For the V.
Nice.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. Yeah, that covers most of it.
Okay, thank you very much, Adil. And by now, I guess we can conclude the discussion. We usually have this breakout session with the speakers, but I believe because it is night already and we will I believe the speakers will have time to rest as well. So we do not provide that in this session. Probably on the next discussion, we will have the breakout session with the speakers and also have a quick chat. So thank you very much. Since Adil has done the documentation, then we are fully and officially closed. And thank you very much for coming to the BVE talk, and see you around on the next one. Thank you
All
very much.
right.
Adrian,
Thank you
for
to our
coming.
speakers. Thank you to
Thank
our
you so much,
brilliant
Mr.
audience.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
and
everyone.
have a
All
good night.
right. See you
Good
guys. See you guys at the
night.
next BVE talk.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Adib. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Furkan. Thank you,